and then the gentleman in the front.
Studies regarding the DNA sources in the creek. Studies regarding the DNA sources of manure. Was there a study done on the creek regarding DNA sources? And are the
Yes.
results back from that yet?
We don't have results back from that yet. The samples have been collected and they're able to do that analysis. And when we do get a full analysis of the existing E. coli in these two watersheds, Little Flower Creek and Flower Creek, then that DNA analysis will be published. It's being done through Grand Valley State University, the Annis Water Resource Institute, AWRI, through Grand Valley. Thank you for the question. Sir?
Is the Agricultural Department of Michigan State doing any work to review agricultural best practices?
They do all the time, but our experience with MDARD, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, when we went on a hearing from one of our members and listened to some of their testimony, experts from MSU, first of all, you have to know that MDARD was entirely consisted of large-scale farmers. The actual people who are members of the voting body of the Commission on Agriculture and Rural Development are themselves large-scale farmers. So whose interest do you think they're going to reflect? Their own self-interest, number one. Number two, the testimony of the experts was applying this waste in an agronomically proper way. Well, there's a problem with the cycle of the year and the cycle of uptake into crops. After crops are harvested, you can put manure or other fertilizer on the land because you're not interfering with the cycle of the growing of the crop. But that application in October or November or even December lays in the soil until the following spring when there's actual germination of seeds and root systems to take up the nutrient. Well, in the meantime, it washes away. And that's the problem with the CAFO cycle, particularly a confined pit like this one where there's 1.5 million gallons of waste and they're mandated to empty it at least twice a year. It's just going to depend on the rhythm of when there's a new batch of pigs arriving, and that's going to be irrespective of the crop cycle on a given field, because the pigs take 120 days to mature, and so 2.8 times a year, 120 days plus 10 days to clean the system, then another 120 for pigs to grow, and another 10 to empty the system. So you get 2.8 times a year. Well, that's going to inevitably fall at the wrong time for seeds to be germinating and root systems to take up the nutrients. And therefore, what really is happening from the CAFO waste is pure waste disposal. It's not true fertilization. It's not true taking it up into root systems where it'll be absorbed. It's leaving it in the soil and having rainwater or snow melt wash it away and having it go out into the water table in the ways that we have agreed here tonight, those ways that are harmful.
So what I'm hearing is the technology is already known. It's just a matter of getting the legislation to line up with the technology.
Yeah. Can I ask, you mentioned dealing with MDARD. Was that in this year or with the prior administration?
That was January of 18?
Okay. So I will again just say that it's significantly different. We sat down with the director of MDARD just about a week and a half ago, and they were not only receptive to some of the issues we had, they mentioned them before we mentioned them. But
Amanda, do you know who the new director is? I mean, can you?
off the top of my head, I don't remember his name, but I can share the information around. Oh, McDowell. McDowell, yep, that's correct. And yeah, so he had certain staff there that specialized in certain things, and he's basically referred to them, which I thought was nice to see somebody do that. But yeah, I think that what they said to us at MDARD was a lot of their hands were like not director, but the staff. They wanted to make a lot of these changes in the past. They've seen our concerns and understand them, but their hands were tied with the prior administration. And that this administration, the governor has made it very clear to them and to all of the departments that water is her top concern. And so from what I mean, it's just another way of me seeing that elections really have consequences. And I'm not politically funded, so I'm not supposed to talk about elections, but they really do have consequences, and hopefully we're seeing them in a positive term this time around.
Let me throw it back to Cheryl for any
Oh,
closing.
when you were mentioning
comment or
about
remark?
the timing of waste disposal,
Mhm.
I just, one way I think of it is, you know, people think of natural fertilizer, manure as being, you know, better than chemical fertilizers. But do we ever spread chemical fertilizers in the winter? Do we ever spread chemical fertilizers after harvest? No, that would be ludicrous. That would be a waste of money. But that's exactly what we do with the CAFO waste. So I think, I just wanted to throw that out there
Yeah.
because I think when you think of it like that, you go, oh, wow,
And we're also,
that
remember,
isn't just waste disposal.
remember as well that there's a lot of chemicals in that slurry of waste as well. So it's not just manure, right? It's all of the waste that goes into their practice inside of there. So it ends up with a lot of chemicals and pathogens and
I want to give one more question to Tanya, and then we're going to close questions at that point.
Are you aware, I've done a little reading on right to farm, and the acts are different in different states.
Mhm.
And nuisance suits are moving forward in certain states, of course, some of them are going to the Supreme Court. But my initial quick reading of Michigan's Right to Farm Act, you all probably know a whole lot more than I do, is that there are, to me it looked like there were, well, if this, but not that. You know, it looked like there were at least a number of circumstances that you would be able to push forward with a nuisance suit. Is there anybody looking at those opportunities?
We have not, in the context of our committee, and none of us are actual experts on that. To my understanding, the general rule in Michigan is that nuisance suits are prohibited under right to farm. That's my general understanding,
Okay.
but
Well,
I may be wrong. And we're going to wrap up the forum here momentarily. We're not going to dive deeper into the weeds
I
on
can-
any issues.
I can mention something
in the
about
interest of time.
Yeah, real quickly about the nuisance. So one thing we did do is when we sat down with MDARD, they do have a little bit of leniency in what's the definition of a nuisance, and we want that expanded. So that is an ask that we've made that can actually work in a positive way for our concerns.
Would you want it restricted?
No, we want it expanded to include, so right now, a nuisance is only a nuisance was to the farm, you know, the farm couldn't be a nuisance, right? So if the nuisance side is the farmer can't be a nuisance to the citizens. Citizens can't sue the farm for nuisance. So if we expand it, there are other reasons that they could be sued for nuisances. Does that make sense? Somebody else could say it better. So the way that the nuisance law works is you can't go and make a suit start a lawsuit because they came in and they're a nuisance because of sound or something like that. So if we expand what's considered a nuisance, there are new possibilities for having issues with the facilities.
Kimmin, I'm gonna cut you off.
Oh, no,
I've
no,
said it,
no,
I've
no.
said it twice.
No,
No,
no, no,
no,
don't cut us
sir.
off so quick.
Sir, it's late.
5
It's
minutes.
hot. No,
5
sir, I'm
minutes.
sorry. I want to thank everybody who's come tonight. If you
Oh.
want to talk to us privately after, please do, but we need to wrap it up.
Why?
Um,
Why?
Maybe you call me arbitrary.
Arbitrary.
Okay. Particularly, I want to thank the road committee members who stepped in to try to solve the technical issues.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Cheryl Rubel for traveling all this distance and providing the testing kits. If you do have an email, please provide it if you're interested to be able to make comments to Eagle
On that,
so that
on
we
that
can
one point, she
get
said
back
she
to
had
you.
a list too.
Yes,
Where is
she's
that?
on
I'll
a
get, if you're
separate,
signed it over
separate
there, I'll
sheet.
get it, but if you want to sign it.
And then the last thing that I neglected earlier, we do have donation buckets here. we do need your help if we're gonna carry on these two, these two legal approaches.
And anybody
Thank you all.
that doesn't want to sign in there, I'll get it from there.